Welcome, good students. It's been a while that we've not had new videos on our platform. So today we are going to continue with the intensive revision of regional mocks. So what I have here with me is a copy of English Language Paper 2, Far North Regional Mock. So we are going to look at it closely and revise the questions there and get to have a feel of the examination while we are a few weeks to it. So the very first section of course, paper 2 is summary and text reconstruction, which we all know. But then before I get into this, I would like us to have a view or a review of what summary writing is all about. Now we do know that summary writing is the very first section of paper 2, and it carries as much as 15 marks. So if you look behind me here, what you have is an illustration of what summary writing is all about. So when we look at our board here, you can clearly see that these are the main aspects of summary writing. Now, one thing I must say is that if you are a student who hasn't got the time that you need to sit down and understand or to read about summary writing, then this is the right platform for you. All you need to do is to get yourself ready, because you observe that everything that we are going to do will just come within what is needed for you to summarize any passage. So let us get on with it. Now, for summary writing, we observe that summary writing has quite a bunch of things that you must pay close attention to before you can correctly summarize a passage. But then there are some main items or main aspects of summary writing that is very important and crucial that you bear in mind. Now, there are 3 of them that you must bear in mind before you get along with your passage. Now, look at the boards over there, you will see them there. Now, the first aspect that we must bear in mind before we approach any passage for summary writing is the main idea. Now, take note that because we are summarizing a passage, that passage is not written by you. Oh yes, the original passage is written by someone else, and it is your responsibility to summarize that passage as the examiner is going to demand of you. Now, the examiner is going to ask you to either summarize it in 1 paragraph or 2. They will also ask you to summarize it in either 150 words or maybe 250 words. But whatever the demand of you, it's very important that you look at the instructions so that you don't go out of it. Now, the first item that we must bear in mind is that every passage carries some central or key ideas that is very crucial for that passage. Now, when we look at what we have here, you can clearly see that every passage carries main ideas, and these main ideas, of course, are developed in paragraphs. We are talking about topic sentence that carries the main idea and the supporting details. So when we get into a passage, the first thing you have to understand is that you must read that passage very well and be able to understand the major ideas that informs that passage. And when we talk about major ideas, we are looking at all the paragraphs and what they are talking about, because there must be a subject matter, and the writer's subject matter is the idea he's discussing, and his attitude towards that subject matter can be understood or deciphered through his choice of words, what we call diction in literature. So an author's diction of choice of words will help you and I understand his attitude towards the subject matter. Is he condemning something? Is he appreciating something? Or is he just being neutral? What is his attitude towards that subject he is discussing? And so, as a good writer who goes out there to summarize that passage, you must be able to read thoroughly so that you can be able to understand the author's attitude or the writer's attitude towards the subject matter he is discussing. Now, when we look over here, you must understand that your summary must be short in terms of the quantity of material. It must be short as compared to the original text, because you are writing a summary. So you focus only on the main ideas. So when we look over here, we observe that a good summary is a shortened form of the original passage, which means that if it is a shortened form of the original passage, you are only going to be dealing with the main ideas. That is why it is a shortened form of the original passage. That brevity and shortness or shortened means the same thing. It therefore implies that you are going to keep all illustrations and examples out and be able to rewrite only the main ideas as expressed in the original passage. Now, the second thing you must bear in mind is your opinion. Keep your opinion to yourself. Your opinion or your views are not part of the passage, so you are only there to summarize the ideas expressed in the original text. Because if you should include your own opinion or ideas, then you have altered the passage. So how then do you go about it? You are working with synonyms. Synonyms. Remember, synonyms are words that express the same meaning. Words that express the same meaning as synonyms. So you're going to be using a lot of synonyms, expressing the passage in your own words, and avoid copying chunks of the original text. It is very, very important. Now, the third one that we are looking at is the number of paragraphs or words that the examiner demands of you, because it's a summary. It is a summary. At the end of the writing, your material should be much more smaller than the original passage, because it is just a summary of the key ideas. It therefore means that you must have a feel. You must have a feel of the passage. You must be able to read the passage closely enough to feel the ideas that has been expressed in it and be able to rewrite them in your own words. And you must limit whatever you write to the amount of words or paragraph as demanded by the question. And then that is a summary. Now, there are some other issues that you might also want to look out for. The first of them is a topic sentence. Now, what's a topic sentence? Like it goes, a topic sentence is that sentence in every paragraph that carries the main idea that the paragraph is about. We call that sentence a topic sentence. You see, there's no paragraph without a topic sentence. There must be a sentence in that paragraph that carries the main idea expressed in that paragraph. It therefore implies that the other sentences provide supporting details. They expand, they illustrate the main idea captured in that topic sentence. Now, the topic sentence might be the first sentence, it might be somewhere in the middle, and it might be at the end of the paragraph. Whatever the position is, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that a good paragraph always carries a topic sentence that initiates the idea that is broadly developed by the other sentences in that paragraph. You must look out for it. Even if the examiner doesn't provide you with a topic for the passage, but in the course of your reading, you should be able to understand the passage so well that you can clearly state out the topic sentence on your own. Now, remember that when you get into a topic sentence, into a summary writing, you should be able to work with a draft. Take your HB pencil and sum up each of the paragraphs that makes up the material you are working with. Sum them up in the form of topic sentences so that it reminds you of what each of those paragraphs are about. Now, the next item we have on my board is examples. Now, you must leave out examples because examples and illustrations only help to stretch out the material. Now, you don't want your material to be stretched out. You want it to be straight to the point. It should be concise because you're dealing with just the key or the central ideas. So keep out all illustrations and examples out of your material and work with just the main ideas expressed in the passage. Then we go to the tone. Now, what is tone? Now, tone has to do with the poet's attitude, the quality of his voice. Is he screaming at something? Is he celebrating something? What is his tone? Tone has to do more with voice quality. You see, when you feel a sense of anxiety, when you are anxious, you observe that you likely will not speak with the normal tone. So your tone has to do with the quality of your voice, and that has to do with how you feel towards whatever you're discussing. If the subject matter you're discussing puts you in a tight position, you are likely going to scream out, and so that has to do with your tone. So the author's tone sometimes it reflects their personal convictions or how they feel towards what they are discussing. So how they feel towards what they are discussing is expressed through their tone. So if you are summarizing a passage and the author, okay, let's just say for example that we are talking about child labor. And it is a bad thing that affects our societies today. And if it so happened that the author of the passage is working on child labor and he condemns it, which is the right thing to do, and he condemns child labor in all its forms, and you write out your summary, at the end of the summary, you don't really seem to be, your tone in your summary doesn't seem to criticize child labor. It therefore means that you probably didn't understand that passage, because when you understand the passage, the tone of your summary should match, or it should reflect the tone of the author of the original passage. Which means if he condemns something, at the end of your summary writing, your summary should equally condemn that thing. If your tone is contrary to that of the author in the original text, then you probably had something wrong. So you should go back and rewrite it again. So what then are we saying? We are saying that whatever tone you have at the close of your summary should also reflect or match the tone of the author of the original text which you are summarizing. Now next we have your opinion or your views. Now remember that you are summarizing someone else's passage, so you can't risk expressing or injecting your own views. Your opinion and your views should be kept away. Please do not comment on the passage. Remember, it is summary, and we did say that summary is a shortened form. It's a shortened form of a material that deals strictly or with the main ideas expressed in that material. So it's just about rewriting something that someone else has written, but then you reduce it to the level you reduce it just to the main ideas. It therefore means that if you're going to work on a summary, you should be very critical to read through that material, understand the main topics, understand all the illustrations and expositions, and be able to keep them out and present just the core ideas as expressed in that passage. Then you have written a very good summary. So now that we have seen what summary is, and we have looked at the key, or I would say the key guidelines of a summary, I will then go on to the revision of the final original more. So we are going to look at the passage that came and then see what we can make out of it in our next video. I do hope that if you followed our lectures and you've gathered anything from what we presented today at the level of summary writing, then you should hit the subscribe button, you should like, and you should share it as much as possible. Now, after looking at the final original more, we are going to go to other aspects of paper 2 and look at it again. So don't move a muscle, just stay where you are for our next video, because it is going to be an illustration or an example of all what we have discussed just now.